JNU vows strict action over anti-government slogans at campus premises, says cannot be labs of hate, FIR against students who chanted slogans soon. Mama Moitra praises Umar Khalid on Twitter after his bail, calling UAPA charges bitter, twisted lies, she says, and also links the probe to hatefulness. After CBI summons in the Karur Stampede case, his latest film, Jana Nayagan, faces a censor delay. Makers move Madras High Court. DMK to move Supreme Court after Madurai High Court upholds the Karthigai Deepam order. BJP slams anti-Hindu mindset. ICC rejects Bangladesh request to shift T20 matches from India, says play in India or forfeit points. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says India is concerned over developments in Venezuela, urges all parties to prioritize safety and well-being of people. President Trump says Venezuela will send 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the US, while White House floated acquiring Greenland, noting the military is always an option. First from the national capital, 5 police personnel were injured as anti-encroachment drive near a mosque in Delhi's Ramlila Maidan turned violent. The clashes broke out when about 300 officials and workers of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi were carrying out a demolition drive at a land adjoining the Said Faiz Elai Mosque and the graveyard at Turkman Gate, following the orders from the Delhi High Court. In total, 4,700 square of illegal encroachments, including a wedding hall and a dispensary, were razed, and the main structure of the mosque remains untouched. However, during the demolition drive, some threw stones at the officials, forcing the police to use tear gas to control the situation. A lot of developments, reactions have been coming in. This has also snowballed into a political controversy. But do remember, few police personnel have also sustained injuries, is why the situation quickly went out of control. And early this morning, we saw the demolition drive being carried out. Our reporters on ground have been bringing us up to speed with the latest ground reports, the action that unfolded and how law enforcement agencies then brought the situation under control. Take a look at some of these reports.
फैज़ इलाही मस्जिद के पास जो अवैध अतिक्रमण है उसको किस तरह से ध्वस्त किया जा रहा है, उसकी तस्वीर हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। दिल्ली नगर निगम के बुलडोजर लगातार अवैध अतिक्रमण को ध्वस्त करने की कार्रवाई को अंजाम दे रहे हैं। आप ये तस्वीर देखिए, तुर्कमान गेट के सामने ये फैज़ इलाही मस्जिद का वो अवैध हिस्सा है जिस पर बुलडोजर कार्रवाई चल रही है। यहाँ पर एक बारात घर और एक मेडिकल कैंप यहाँ पर था जिसमें डायग्नोस्टिक सेंटर चलता था, उसको ध्वस्त किया जा रहा है। तो यहाँ पर ये तस्वीर आप देख सकते हैं किस तरह से लगातार यहाँ पर कई बुलडोजर यहाँ पर जो अवैध अतिक्रमण है उसको बुलडोज करने की कार्रवाई को अंजाम दे रही हैं। ये तस्वीर यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं और साथ ही पुलिस के भारी बंदोबस्त यहाँ पर किए गए हैं। भारी संख्या में पुलिस बल तैनात है, अर्धसैनिक बल यहाँ पर तैनात है, रैपिड एक्शन फोर्स के जवान यहाँ पर तैनात है। इसके अलावा एमसीडी के ट्रक आपको नजर आएंगे। जो मलबा निकल रहा है उसको हाथों हाथ यहाँ से हटाया जा रहा है। ये तस्वीर आप देखिए, रात का समय संभवतः इसलिए चुना गया क्योंकि बेहद ही संवेदनशील ये इलाका माना जाता है, लिहाजा यहाँ पर इस कार्रवाई को अंजाम दिया जा रहा है।
50 के आसपास लोग इधर इकट्ठा हुआ। मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल वेर जस्ट क्यूरियस टू नो लाइक व्हाट इज हैपनिंग। तो हम लोग उनको बता दिया कि आप लोग इधर से चले जाओ, ये कानून की कोर्ट की ऑर्डर है, कोर्ट की ऑर्डर भी दिखाए। तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल वहाँ से चले गया। 25-30 लोग जो थे उस जो स्ट्रीट है वहाँ स्ट्रीट से फिर इन्होंने पुलिस के ऊपर पत्थर मार दिए। उसका वीडियोस भी अभी सोशल मीडिया में है, अगर आपको नहीं मिला तो मैं भेज दूंगा, ठीक है। उसके बाद पुलिस को रिटेलिएशन में वी हैड टू यूज फोर्स। उसमें एक्चुअली फोर्स को यूज करके हमने उनको पुश किया। पुश करने के बाद उनको वहां से पुश करने के बाद वी स्टार्टेड द डेमोलिशन। इस प्रोसेस में जब पत्थर फेंका, उस पत्थर फेंकने के प्रोसेस में 5 पुलिसकर्मी इंजर्ड है और इनको हॉस्पिटल में लेके गया एंड देयर इंजरीज आर माइनर इन नेचर।
लेकिन सर वो ये कह रहे हैं कि कोई आदेश नहीं था, बिना आदेश की कार्रवाई हुई है। रात में क्यों कार्रवाई की गई, दिन में क्यों नहीं की गई?
किसने बोला?
ये स्थानीय लोग कह रहे हैं।
इट्स अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री, इट्स अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री, एवरीबडी इज फ्री टू एक्सप्रेस देयर ओन व्यूज।
सर स्टोन पेल्टिंग केस में क्या कोई एफआईआर हुआ है, कोई डिटेन?
वी हैव रजिस्टर्ड एन एफआईआर। 5 लोगों को हमने डिटेन किया।
5 को डिटेन किया है।
रिलेवेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ लॉ है, मतलब कानूनी कार्रवाई करने में जो लोगों मतलब पुलिस ऑफिसर्स को जो मतलब हिंड्रेंस किया, फिर राइटिंग का भी है, और पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टी को मतलब जो मतलब डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टी, वो भी सेक्शन में।
सर प्रिवेंटिवली फोर्स तो यहाँ डिप्लॉय रहेगी, लेकिन क्या डिमोलिशन आज होगा, कब से कब तक होगा?
डेमोलिशन तो ऑलमोस्ट हुआ। जो भी डेमोलिशन जो कैरी कर रहे हैं वो एमसीडी कर रहे हैं। तो एमसीडी इज द मेन नोडल एजेंसी, हम तो सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी है। तो एमसीडी अगर हमें रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द एक्सिस्टिंग सिचुएशन, वी विल सपोर्ट।
क्या आज के लिए फोर्स मांगी है एमसीडी ने? क्या आज के लिए फोर्स मांगी है एमसीडी ने? क्या आज के लिए फोर्स मांगी है?
एमसीडी ने हमें 12 बजे से मांगा था, तो हमने फोर्स दे दिया। जितना काम अभी होना है वो हो गया, अभी भी काम चल रहे हैं और हमारा फोर्स भी अभी डिप्लॉयड है।
सर 5 लोग जो हिरासत में ले गए उनकी
I do want to go across to Anshul Singh, my colleague who joins us with the latest. Anshul is joining us live from the site where the demolition drive was carried out. This was a pre-dawn operation, Anshul. Situation quickly went out of hand, was later brought under control by the police personnel there. But this drive was carried out by MCD officials, and stones were hurled at some of those officials who were acting under the Delhi High Court order. Tell us what really happened early this morning and what the situation is looking like right now.
Well, at this point in time, the situation is absolutely under control, and we just heard the DCP of Central Delhi, who was addressing the media, and he has confirmed this news break that CNN News 18 said that 5 people have been detained and an FIR under relevant sections of law have already been registered. But I'll just try to give you a sense as to what has transpired at this mosque over here. Right behind me is the main structure of the mosque, and if you could look at this entire structure, this structure has been untouched by the MCD because there were relevant papers of the Waqf board that the authorities had. But what has been demolished? Right next to the mosque is this Barat Ghar that was established over here, and this has been established on encroached land, and hence this entire structure has been demolished. Now remember, the mosque committee had went to the Delhi High Court yesterday itself seeking a stay on this demolition drive, but the Delhi High Court did not entertain their petition, and a stay was not granted on this entire demolition drive, and hence this demolition drive was carried out. Right next to this Barat Ghar was a small dispensary that was made over here, and this dispensary was also made upon encroached land, and hence that has also been removed. Approximately 4,700 square yard of area has been demolished by the Municipal Corporation of Delhi that was encroached upon illegally by the mosque. Now the larger question that remains over here, that how did the other people get to know that something like this is happening, and how did they gather suddenly in such a huge quantity? Were some messages given out? Was there a conspiracy to somewhere or the other make sure that the public work that needs to be carried out, the governmental work that needs to be carried out, that needs to be stopped? And that is something that will now be investigated by the Delhi police, because in just a fraction of seconds, hundreds of people gathered on the streets and started pelting stone towards the police officers, and post that at least 5 police officers have sustained minor injuries, and in retaliation tear gas shells were actually shelled out from the side of the rapid action force that was deployed over here. So this entire area that you are seeing around me, this entire area has now been demolished and has been cleared of anti-encroachment, and this was an encroachment drive that was already on cards. Now this mosque is also a center of controversy. Remember, when the Delhi blast happened, the main accused, Umar, who went ahead and blew himself outside the Red Fort, right before going ahead and parking his car in the Red Fort parking, he came to this mosque to offer prayers as well. So since then, this entire mosque has been a part of the investigation that is being done by the NIA as well. We have access to CCTV footages as well, where Umar was seen inside this mosque. So the demolition drive that was supposed to be carried out the process was ongoing for the past many months. But finally, after the Delhi High Court did not give any relief to the mosque committee, this demolition drive was carried out, and it was abundantly clear that the main structure of the mosque would not be touched. The main structure of the mosque would not be raised down since it had the requisite papers. It has not been encroached upon, but the adjoining area that has been encroached upon illegally by the mosque committee, that will be raised down. So what kind of messages were given to these people who came out to pelt stones at the police? This is something that is being looked into by the Delhi police. The larger investigation will also be carried out. Was there a larger conspiracy to somewhere or the other derail the action that is being taken by the Municipal Corporation of Delhi? This is something that will be investigated over the next few days.
Okay, Anshul, stay on with us. Thank you for joining us with those details. We'll keep revisiting the story because lots is set to unfold still. But for now, we shift our focus to the other big story we've been tracking from the national capital on how JNU is once again in the political spotlight after Omar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam were denied bail. The Supreme Court upheld, remember, the view that the prosecution material prima facie linked them to planning and mobilization related to the unrest in 2020 Delhi riots conspiracy case. In the hours after the bail denial, a group of students from several left-wing groups raised controversial slogans targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah on campus premises. The protests coincided with multiple issues. January 5th also marked 6 years since the January 2020 attack on students and teachers at JNU by masked assailants. And the JNU administration responded swiftly to the incident, alleging that what began as a commemorative event morphed into highly objectionable, provocative and inflammatory slogans that violated the university's code of conduct and could also disturb campus harmony. In a formal communication to Delhi police, JNU authorities have filed an FIR against identified students, framing the slogans as deliberate misconduct and potential contempt of the Supreme Court. First up, reactions we've picked up so far.
I'm at the JNU campus, and this is the Sabarmati hostel exactly where the incident had actually taken place. This is right behind me, and this is the whole hostel where in fact these visuals were recorded. These are in fact the places where this incident had taken place, and the slogans were actually raised.
जिस तरह से भी हालिया घटना हुई है, इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं?
ये सबसे बड़ी बात है कि ये जेएनयू के जो वामपंथी हैं उनकी मोडस ऑपरेंडी बन गई है। उनको हर 2 महीने में किसी सम्मानित व्यक्ति को गाली देना है, ना ही किसी भी काम को इन्होंने आगे बढ़ाना है। जेएनयू जिसको चुना जाता है कि जेएनयू के अंदर वो कार्य करे, जेएनयू का वो कोई कार्य नहीं करता है, लेकिन बाहर के हर एक छोटी से छोटी चीज़ों पे इनका कोई ना कोई टिप्पणी, विवादित टिप्पणी आती रहती है। उन लोगों से पूछिए क्या उन्होंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट पढ़ा है, और मैं आप दावे के साथ कह सकता हूं कि उनमें से किसी ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट नहीं पढ़ा होगा। उन्हें ये भी नहीं पता है कि किस कारण से जितने जी अक्यूज थे उसमें से 2 ही अक्यूज को बेल क्यों नहीं मिली है और बाकी जितने हैं उनको बेल क्यों मिली है। ऐसी स्थिति में अगर जब आप देखते हैं जेएनयू में वामपंथियों का, तो इनका ये सर्वाइवल टेक्निक बन गई है। इनको सर्वाइव करने के लिए किसी ना नाम लेना है, कोई विवाद खड़ा करना है और उस विवाद को लेके अपना नाम चमकाना है। यही कार्य रह गया जेएनयू का।
ये शर्जील इमाम की जो औलादे जेएनयू में पैदा हुई है, इनके इरादों को कुचलने का काम हम करेंगे। ऐसे नापाक इरादे जो देशद्रोहियों के साथ खड़े होते हैं, जो देश को तोड़ने की भाषा करने वालों के साथ खड़े होते हैं, उनके इरादों को कुचल दिया जाएगा। ऐसे इरादे नहीं चलेंगे।
And now shifting our focus to more breaking news coming in. Delhi police has issued a fresh statement on the JNU incident. The slogans raised at the campus, a complaint from Chief Security Officer JNU was received in Vasant Kunj North Police Station regarding the incident of sloganeering against Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. The same is being examined for necessary action. So this is the latest that's just come in, the latest bit of breaking news update on investigations that have been shaping up slowly. The Delhi police has issued a statement in the latest and has spoken of how a complaint formally has been received by JNU over the incident. Simran joins us with more details. Simran, tell us a little bit about the formal complaint. Does it also name the exact number of students who were part of the sloganeering at the campus premises? What more have you been able to find out?
Well, if we talk about the complaint that has been submitted by the JNU security officer to the station house officer of the Vasant Kunj North Police Station, it categorically mentions that the gathering, which had nearly 30 to 40 people who were there at the Sabarmati hostel to commemorate the 6th anniversary of the violence in the year 2020 in the JNU, it was largely only limited to, in fact, discussing about what has happened 6 years back when it was about the Aisha Ghosh, but it significantly then turned into a very violent and a gathering that had become the basis of raising the slogans that were in complete contempt of the Supreme Court. And that is where it has now gone to, taking the cognizance of this report that has been submitted by the Chief Security Officer here of the JNU. The JNU University has specified 9 names, out of which 4 are the office bearers of the JNU Students' Union, and the rest 5 of the students, the names of which the university has also in fact stated, they are also going to be facing extreme action when we speak of the kind of action that the university can take. Of course, in response to what has happened on that day, there is a video on record where these very provocative and these slogans were raised against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah as well. While the 5 office bearers that have been identified, the names of them have also been attached in that complaint of the Student Union of the JNU. The rest of the 5 were also the members of the Student Union of the JNU, and that is why, in fact, the university is going to initiate an action. But very importantly, the university has also stated that they will give in fact, an option for the students, and they will give that chance for them to speak on what they have to say after the incident before they finally announce the kind of action that they want to take. But they will also have to clarify on what grounds were they raising the slogans and why exactly did they turn this entire gathering at the Sabarmati hostel into a violent one, specifically targeting the Prime Minister and the Home Minister of the country.
And the JNU statement reads very categorically, Simran, that it began as a commemorative event and shortly after morphed into provocative sloganeering that took place at the campus premises. So accountability is being sought here. Ananya Bhatnagar continues to stay on with us as well. Now that we've accessed this formal complaint and we do know some sort of an action has been initiated, Ananya, where do you see this headed? How soon could action be taken against those responsible for raising these objectionable slogans at the campus?
Well, absolutely, it's a sensitive issue, and the DCP of the Southeast Zone, Southwest Zone, under which this whole campus comes in, and the SHO is actually looking into the complaint that has been submitted by the Chief Security Officer of the Jawaharlal Nehru University, very categorically saying that these were slogans which were raised deliberately, and in fact a report was also sent by the Chief Security Officer to the Chief Proctor of the University, and clearly mentioning that these students which had given a call of a guerrilla march towards from Sabarmati hostel is something that turned out to be one where certain slogans were raised which were a death call for the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, and certain others. And very categorically, all of this has been viewed very, very seriously by the JNU administration. The JNU administration has stated that they are taking a very, very serious cognizance of this particular issue, and sources at the JNU administration also told us that a show cause notice would also be issued apart from the criminal investigation and the kind of investigation that would be conducted by the police, but also a stricter action on the administrative end is also being considered by the university. So we'll have to wait as to how things pan out and whether a show cause notice is actually sent out to these students as well.
Okay, so suddenly investigations have picked up. We'll keep coming back to you, Ananya and Simran, for more. Thank you for joining us in the latest. We shift our focus with that to the other big story on the upcoming elections in Tamil Nadu. We're now learning that the AIDMK, BJP, PMK alliance has been sealed in the state. Number of seats have been finalized and will be announced later. So seat sharing between the allies has also been decided is what we're learning. AIDMK, BJP, PMK to contest elections in Tamil Nadu together. I do want to go across to Mugilan, who joins us with more details. Mugilan, there was a little bit of a speculation around whether all is well between the AIDMK and the BJP and who really is going to have the bigger say in the alliance. For now, all differences seem to have been ironed out, is it?
Definitely, as you rightly pointed out, there were ambiguity in the NDA alliance, particularly in Tamil Nadu, because there were only two big political parties in the NDA alliance in Tamil Nadu, that is ADMK and BJP, and there were talks with PMK and DMDK to bring them to NDA's fold to face DMK in the 2026 assembly election. And now we are seeing the alliance between the ADMK BJP has been sealed with PMK. Today morning we saw Anbumani Ramdas, PMK leader, visiting EPS residence here in Chennai at 9:30 a.m. and the talk went for more than 20 minutes. And at the end of the meeting, we heard it from the EPS itself stating that the PMK is officially joining the NDA alliance. And more importantly, the number of seats also has been finalized with PMK is the biggest takeaway we have to see in the meeting today. So the constituency list, the list of the constituencies will be announced later, but the number of seats has been finalized with PMK. More importantly, it's very important to note Amit Shah, Home Minister Amit Shah visited Tamil Nadu recently, and he held meetings with key ADMK leaders. And what's been communicated with the ADMK leaders is that the alliance talk or the finalizing the alliance should be expedited is the word that was communicated to ADMK, and following that now we are seeing PMK joining ADMK, and reports also suggest today EPS will be flying to Delhi today is the additional information what we are getting as of now. So now we are seeing the alliance talks and the other work related to elections for 2026 is speeding up in the NDA alliance in Tamil Nadu.
Mogilan, there were indications being sent out by the state leadership of the AIDMK that we are interested in contesting solo. What are the terms and conditions the AIDMK had put forth before the BJP that perhaps were not agreed to earlier and has now been worked upon? Do we have more details on that front?
Definitely, because we have seen in the recent part there was a vertical split in PMK. The father son have parted ways, and each claim that they are the president of PMK. And even for the alliance to get killed today, what was agreed by ADMK is that ADMK will not have any talk or touch with the senior Ramdas for the 2026 assembly election. Was the demand that was put forth by Anbumani Ramdas to ADMK, and that was readily agreed upon by the ADMK High Command. Is the report what we are getting now? So based on that agreement, that ADMK will not hold any talks with Ramdas, senior Ramdas, for the 2026 election. Now this alliance has been sealed is what
and like you said, Mugilan, the biggest takeaway is also PMK's inclusion, and more importantly how seat sharing has been finalized between the three allies. Thank you for joining us with that update. We head into a very short break with that. We'll be right back with lots more in just a bit.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Against stone pelters at the mosque. FIR has been registered against unidentified persons. Identification process of others is underway as well. So this is the latest that we're getting right now. After 5 police personnel were injured as an anti-encroachment drive was carried out near a mosque in Delhi's Ramlila Maidan, which turned violent. The clashes broke out when about 300 officials and workers of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi were carrying out a demolition drive at a land adjoining the Syed Faiz Elahi Mosque and a graveyard at Turkman Gate, following the orders from the Delhi High Court. Now, an FIR has been registered against unidentified persons, and identification process is underway also, we're given to understand. For more on this, we have with us Anshul Singh, who's joining us live from the Turkman Gate. Anshul, what can you tell us of the situation currently on ground? What is happening there? Have you been able to speak to the people around and get a sense of what really happened?
Well, the situation on the ground at this point in time is peaceful, but I'll just try and show you and get you a sense as what has transpired over here. If I could just show you in the visuals, this is the main structure of the mosque, and this has been left absolutely untouched. But what are the parts that have been removed? What are the parts that have been demolished? If I could just show you over here, this was a barat ghar that was made over here, and it was an illegal encroachment. In fact, yesterday the authorities from the mosque committee had moved the Delhi High Court as well, asking for a stay, and that stay was denied from the side of the Delhi High Court, and hence this entire demolition drive has been carried out. If you could look on the first floor as well, the deep freezers, the eggs and other things that one could eat, all of these things are still placed over there. They haven't been removed as well. Apart from this, there was a small dispensary on the left hand side as well, and that dispensary has also been brought down. But as this entire anti-encroachment drive was underway, there were people who tried to gather over here and started pelting stones at the police officers, due to which 5 police officers have sustained minor injuries at this point. Apart from this, the Delhi police has finally gone ahead and registered an FIR under anti-rioting sections of the BNS, and at least 5 people have been detained by the Delhi police at this point in time, whereas the identification process of others is still underway. If I could just show you this entire compound that is present over here, the condition that you are seeing over here, this was the entire encroached area. Approximately 4,700 square yards of area has been evacuated, has been cleared off by the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Now remember, this mosque is also a controversial mosque, because remember,
Welcome back. There's no end to minority persecution in Dhaka and Bangladesh. Hostel dwellers from minority communities at Dhaka University's Jagannath Hall share their harrowing experiences with CNN News 18. One of them said, and I quote, "We feel safe inside the campus, but we're afraid of what may happen if we step outside," unquote. Many wish to leave Dhaka for safer locations, sparking questions about India's stance on accepting refugees. In Mohidpur as well, 25-year-old Hindu man Mithun Sarkar drowned while fleeing a mob who suspected him of theft. The Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Okya Parishad reports alarming communal violence against minorities, with 51 incidents in December 2025 alone, including 10 murders, 10 thefts or robberies, and 23 cases of property damage and looting. The organization emphasizes the need for a secular state, not a religious one. The situation is dire, with many calling for international attention and action to protect minority rights in the country.
Do you feel alienated over here, or you're fine?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
But you do hear stories about people being targeted, whether they're Christians or whether they're Hindus. Does that upset you?
Actually, I don't have any knowledge about that, so I feel safe here.
Because you're inside this hall over here.
Yeah.
Outside, would you feel safe?
Sometimes I feel alienated, so as I'm a Christian, that's okay. But inside hall, I'm safe.
I see largely over here, this is called the Jagannath Hall. Yeah. So you have students who belong to, say, Hindus, Muslims, all Hindus and Christians, all of them living together.
Buddhist also.
Buddhist also. Outside this is a different world. There are unfortunate stories which come out of minorities being targeted. Does that bother you as a student?
As a student, I feel really unsafe, because nowadays there are some extremist people who are actually very extreme to the religion, like Hindus, and this is really very threatens for us, and we're feeling very nervous in this country, and that's why most of the students in our hall are trying to go abroad, because current situation is not like that to stay in this country. So that's why I think I will go abroad also.
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
I want to go like some European countries.
बांग्लादेश में जो हो रहा है, हम कंडेम कर रहा है, हम पूरा प्रोटेस्ट कर रहा है, लेकिन हम वेस्ट बंगाल है, ये एक स्टेट है और बांग्लादेश एक देश है। हमारा कोई जुरिस्डिक्शन नहीं है बांग्लादेश के बारे में कुछ करने का। किसका है जुरिस्डिक्शन और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का है। सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, दे शुड कम्युनिकेट विद बांग्लादेश प्रॉपर्ली। जो करना है, जो बोलना है, तो उनको करना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम तो एक स्टेट है, ये हमारा हाथ में नहीं है।
बांग्लादेश में जो लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, घोष बोस, दत्तो मित्रो, जो मोतुआ है, चकमा है, वो हमारा खून है, हमारा भाई है। लेकिन इस विषय में जो कुछ बोल रहे हैं वो भारत की जो परराष्ट्र मंत्री है वही बोलेंगे। इसके बारे में हम लोग को कुछ बोलना नहीं है। लेकिन बांग्लादेश का जो माहौल है उसका भी आंच धीरे धीरे पश्चिम बंगाल के ऊपर पड़ रहा है। बांग्लादेश में रविंद्रनाथ की प्रतिमा तोड़ा गया और पश्चिम बंगाल में सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी का छात्र नेता और रविंद्रनाथ की तस्वीर के ऊपर आग लगा दिया। बांग्लादेश में दीपू दास को जिंदा जला दिया गया और पश्चिम बंगाल में से मिट्टी की प्रतिमा जो तैयार करते थे चंदन दास और उसका पिता हरगोविंद दास, उसको दिन दहाड़े मार दिया गया।
And shifting our focus to more news from Pakistan. Pakistan is rattled by News 18 coverage tagging one of our reporters as a raw agent after she reported on India upgrading its technical mission in Kabul and cross-border terrorism concerns, completely losing the plot. While spooked by India's Operation Sindoor, Pakistan Army has visibly lost composure. DG ISPR has made this unprofessional remark and says, and I quote, Maza na karaya to paisa wapis, which translates to if you didn't enjoy it, get your money back. It's a statement that top intelligence sources say reflects sharp decline in professional military communication and openly signals hostility, insecurity, grievance-driven language and an inability to engage diplomatically. And all this while Network 18 reporter was only doing her job. Do remember, in late 2025, India upgraded its technical mission in Kabul to a full embassy, and that's what this coverage was all about. But here's what Pakistan opted to do. It tagged one of our reporters as a raw agent. She was reporting on India upgrading its technical mission in Kabul and also on notorious activities carried out in Pakistan, including cross-border terrorism concerns. So this is how DGISPR has chosen to respond, completely spooked by India's Operation Sindoor and the kind of reportage that the Indian media successfully carried out here. Pakistan Army losing its composure, DGISPR making this mocking statement and speaking of how maza na karaya to paisa wapis. And this is being seen as highly unprofessional. Top intel sources, of course, see this as a sharp decline in professional military communication and also say this openly signals hostility, signals insecurity, and that's what Pakistan has chosen to do instead of sticking to facts. Only because a News 18 reporter was doing her job, and that has left Pakistan rattled today, tagging one of our reporters as a raw agent for merely doing her job as she was reporting on this upgrade, India upgrading its technical mission in Kabul. It's been interpreted by some as interference or speculation about Indian intelligence involvement from a Pakistani perspective. Completely fake narrative being peddled by Pakistan once again, because this News 18 reporter was just sticking to facts, just talking about how India has upgraded its technical mission in Kabul, about cross-border terrorism concerns, which, remember, is a reality, and Pakistan has had to face the brunt of it repeatedly. I do want to go across to CNN News 18's Aman Sharma, who joins us with more. Aman, Pakistan clearly losing the plot, and not for the first time. And this tactic, this failed tactic, has left Pakistan exposed once again. But give us more context to what's happened here.
Well, Shubhangi, yes, very unfortunate the way the Pakistani ISPR is targeting Indian journalists, calling them as raw agents. And one of these journalists is from Network 18, Shubhangi Sharma, our colleague, whose tweet has in fact been posted out at this press conference by the ISPR DG and terming her as a raw agent just for stating facts, what she has done in this particular tweet. And this is becoming a repeated Pakistan strategy. You know, any Indian journalist who is trying to expose Pakistan on the issue of its ongoing conflict with Afghanistan, or pointing to its sponsoring of terror inside India, such journalists are being targeted by the Pakistani ISPR. It has been seen a lot after, in fact, after Operation Sindoor. And now we see our own Network 18 colleague, Shubhangi Sharma, her tweet has been posted there in the ISPR in that open press conference. Again, I think a complete violation of ethics, and terming her as a raw agent. And we saw the DG ISPR, they say that, completely Pakistan ISI seems to be losing the plot, terming journalists as raw agents for what, while journalists are only doing their job. And Network 18, Shubhangi has been reporting consistently on these exposes on Pakistan. In her videos, she also puts out on explaining what really is happening behind the scenes. And it seems Pakistan is clearly rattled by how it is being exposed on global forums by such revelations. And that is why we see such kind of posts now coming from the DG ISPR, in which is targeting journalists, calling them as raw agents.
And not for the first time. Every time, be it the top military here in India, be it journalists who have left Pakistan exposed during Operation Sindoor, Pakistan has reverted with the same old tactic, isn't it, Aman?
Absolutely, Kritsween. And this was a simple tweet by her, and she has also, in fact, Shubhangi has posted, she'll be joining us shortly. She has simply put out a tweet reporting what had factually happened, and that has landed up in this slide of presentations by the Pakistani DG ISPR, who's claiming that India will never recognize the Pakistan state, that he's warning that India and Afghanistan will keep giving these veiled threats to Pakistan. Essentially, it's a Pakistan-Afghanistan conflict. India has nothing to do with it, and India is basically, Indian journalists are only reporting what is happening on those borders, this violence which is happening daily and the attacks which are happening from both the sides. But to paint an Indian journalist as being a raw agent and trying to forward an agenda raises some really disturbing questions on how Pakistan treats journalists and to how it treats the factual reporting.
Yeah, let's go over to Shubhangi. She joins us on the broadcast. Good morning, Shubhangi. This fake plot once again being tweaked, retweaked, and they've taken it to an official press briefing. But tell us what the original post that you'd put out on social media was all about, and how it's ended up becoming, a subject of joke, given how Pakistan has chosen to officially respond.
Good morning, Kritsween. So essentially, my tweet was back when S. Jaishankar, our External Affairs Minister, met with a leader from the Taliban, Amir Musaki, and he was essentially telling him about it was a reporting tweet. So I was just quoting our External Affairs Minister, S. Jaishankar. The tweet was about opening up a new technical mission, or reopening the technical mission in Kabul, and there Jaishankar also said that we both face the problem of cross-border terrorism, and that area was highlighted by DG ISPR, and my account was portrayed as a raw account. He said it explicitly in the conference that this is a raw account, ye raw ke account hai. So this was very concerning for me. I was completely shocked because I don't want a target on my back. I am a journalist, I'm a private citizen. And this type of categorization puts me in a category that I'm not. And in such a tense situation where the situation is so heated between our countries, he is not just accusing us of being linked to the Intel agency of India, but also he's trying to portray us as being part of some kind of terror nexus, which is the larger problem here. Ahmed Chaudhry, the DG ISPR, accuses India of forming a terror nexus with Afghanistan. And in that entire false allegation, they have also targeted private citizens like myself.
Shubhangi, well, congratulations, because your truth has rattled them to the extent that they're resorting to these cheap tactics. But that, having said that, they have labeled some journalists, you alongside other journalists, and they've literally quoted or highlighted excerpts of your social media posts and calling you raw agents. Not just that, the header of that reaction also says Indian Afghan Taliban terror nexus. So that's how they've decided to tweak it, falsely tweak it. Shubhangi, you've been reporting in length about Operation Sindoor, India's success. Ever since, have you seen this repeated pattern that they're name calling some journalists, really trying to pin them down by resorting to these cheap tactics?
Absolutely, they have been name calling journalists, and let's just talk about the contents of this particular conference, where he has used really crass language throughout. It just does not look like a professional individual belonging to a military of a country, and it shows the desperation also, because in this conference he has said that not a single day is passing in which an army or a policeman or an intelligence official is not killed. And so he's trying to connect the internal disturbances that Pakistan is going through with India, with Indian citizens, with the Indian media, social media accounts, and with Afghanistan. So even Afghanistan has come out with a very aggressive statement against them. And now the pattern